Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Marriage Culture TV, where marriage and culture intersect. This we are your hosts, Queen Athleen, and
Nikki O here.
so today we are back with episode 9, and we are talking about finance and finance in an intercultural marriage.
Yeah.
So we have some subtopics to discuss, and as usual, we look forward to your feedback, your inputs. And before I go any further, actually, if you've been watching us and following us for a while, like, subscribe. Have you subscribed? Subscribe, share our video. And if this is your first time, please subscribe. I'm sure you'd want to after watching this video and check out our other videos as well.
Yeah.
So from an intercultural perspective, we want to talk about finance, and we've written down about 5 points. And Nikki, our financial expert, I'm giving you a new title every week.
I get all these titles, but I don't mind titles, I mean, like, it's okay.
All right, so Nikki, you introduce us with our first topic and let's roll.
Okay, so the first thing we really wanted to talk about is, in regards to money, is the accounting part of it with accounts. Should we have, some people are for separate accounts or having the same account, a joint account, separate accounts or joint accounts. And, with everything, like we always talk about, this is Marriage Culture TV. Everybody's culture is different.
Yes.
Some people are coming from an environment where it's the male that's in charge of the money, or it could be the female that's in charge of the money. But as Athleen said in a little discussion that we had previously, times have changed. Prior, women were basically, in many cultures, just housewives. But now we have ladies, wives that are out there making, their mark in society, in the business world, businesses. They're not just stay-at-home moms anymore. And sometimes in relationships, whether it's in one with difference in culture or not, sometimes a female is bringing home more money than the male. And that plays a big role into how money works or how money looks, depending on your home, where you're from, and how you feel. So, Athleen, how do you feel about a joint account or separate account, and why?
Like you said, it's different for everyone, different strokes for different folks. When I was first getting married, we did some research, and some people said have joint accounts. Others say have a separate account. Others say have separate account and one joint account for the home. So it just varies, whatever works for you. One of the principal financial advisors that I listen to and follow a lot is Dave Ramsey. And one of the things he says is that marriage is a partnership.
Yes.
And when you are separate or single, you have your separate accounts. Now that you're married, the two become one, and so should your account, because you're in a partnership, you're in this together, and you should begin to look at everything, including your finances as a whole. That being said, independent woman, it can be a little bit different. And I'm not saying because I'm superwoman. I'm not. I love the idea of a joint account. I also like the idea of separate account, and I'll tell you why. From a personal perspective, I'm not pushing this idea. There was times when I would shop, and then I would have to explain, hey, what's that for? What's that for, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, it's good accountability to be able to explain that, and I love that. But I like the idea of having a joint account, and then having separate accounts that you can just do anything with. However, that separate account should also be visible to both parties. For me, and in our household, it's visible to both parties, so I know what's going on with all the accounts, our joint and our separate. So that's what works for me. What about you?
For me, simplicity is definitely the key. And like you, I do follow Dave Ramsey, and I like what he said, and totally believe that if you're out there and you're single, it's okay. You have your accounts, you do whatever you want to do. It's cool. And this is my own personal take on the matter. Please don't, just my take. But now that you are together, and like he said, the two have become one, I think there are more positive reinforcements for having a joint account than there are for having separate accounts. For one, like you said, it brings visibility and it brings accountability. You know, I can deal with, okay, there's one account here, one account there, you have this one, I have this one, and no, we're both together, we're both working towards the same goals, we're both trying to achieve the same things. You know, let's work together on this and make it work for us. You know, that's just us. That's Athleen. That's Nicola. Different people, different strokes for different folks.
Yes.
You know, it might work for you, it might not work for you. You will hear stories of why one is better than the other, but I think it's up to you and your partner and what you have going on in that household that's going to have the final say into what you believe or what you follow in that principle.
Yes. And good input, Nikki. I love your take on that. I just can't do the thing. I mean, I just like to have my little own.
It works.
God will help it. It works. It works for us. And if that's what works for you, then kudos to you and your whole household for that. Point number 2 is budgeting.
Yeah.
Budgeting. Sometimes from an intercultural perspective, and I have met men from different cultures, budget.
And females from different cultures.
And females come different budget. What's that? Money comes in, money goes out. What's but I've heard I don't like to be restricted and a budget is too restrictive. Well, that is how you save in the long run.
Right.
Budgeting is
why save money when you can spend it? Why are you saving the money? There's things that you can do with it. Why are you budgeting?
Budgeting is a forecast. It lets you know what you have and what your responsibilities are. And I am a strong advocate and believer that both parties should be involved in the budgeting. Maybe sometimes in a household, you would have one party that is stronger at money management and budgeting. And so they can take over the budgeting, but it should be visible to both parties in marriage. Because again, we're coming back. It's a partnership. What's your take?
I love that, and like you rightly said, one person is definitely stronger, but I'm so into what I know. So I think if there's one partner that's stronger, anything can happen. Life happens. If you're stronger and you realize that and you know that your other partner has some weak points, encourage that person, help to educate that person so that you're both on the same level. God forbid anything should happen and you're the one that was over the budgeting or the one handling the money, and then something happens and you're not able to do it, and then the other person is left and just pulling their hairs out, like, what am I going to do? I don't understand what's going on. I was never the one who was doing this. I never budgeted. All I did was just partake. I just gave, and this happened or that happened. It's good that both partners are on the same page. Hey, we're budgeting because we're working on 2 or 3 goals for the year. Maybe we have short-term goals, long-term goals. Let's budget and make sure that we're able to reach them at a reasonable time, at a reasonable pace. Okay, we work X amount of money. We're budgeting because we want to put this away to make sure that we do this with the money and do that with the money. Make sure everybody is aware of it, know what's going on, and I trust and believe me, it's going to make it work better for your good in the long run. Athleen, your take?
No, I agree with that. And with that comes, our next topic, point number 3, was salary differences.
Yes.
Yes. With salary differences, my biggest thing is it's not yours and mine anymore in marriage. It's ours.
Yes.
It's ours together. And sometimes you would have one spouse making more than the other. It could be the wife, it could be the husband. And that doesn't mean that the one who's making more would then hold it over that person's head and is like, yeah, I'm a woman, hear me roar, I'm bringing in the dough. Because, like you said, we're now in a society where women are holding, they're holding big time jobs. They're executives,
they're holding CEO, their own.
Yeah, they're executives, they're CEO, they're owners of businesses, etc. And they're making more money, but it's ours. And together, don't let salary differences come in between you and your husband. If you are, like you said, a unit, this probably goes back to your point of having one joint account. He's making maybe 60 grand and she's making 100 grand. Guess what? The family, say your name is the Whites or the Browns. The Brown family is making 160 grand per year. And that's how I see salary differences. It shouldn't be a bone of contention. It shouldn't be used as a tool to control the spouse that's making a lesser amount. It should be viewed as, this is how much this household is making. What do you think?
Right. Absolutely, I believe in that, and and I think that's why having certain discussions or going through or having an ongoing counseling in marriage is so important.
Yeah.
You can go to counseling for different reasons. Attending seminars. Keeping yourself educated so that we start thinking maybe outside of the box when it comes to relationships, especially in intercultural marriages, because my background may be totally different from yours. Of course, I shouldn't say might be. It is different from yours because we're two different people.
Yeah.
And the way you might be taught about money or to handle money is totally different from the way I was taught. It's not strange to hear of cultures where, the male figure in that relationship believes that he should be the one that's over the money, whether he's earning the most or not, And sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't work, but, you're going to have that salary differences. Sometimes in today's society, sometimes it's the male that's staying at home and it's a female that's out there working. So, those things have to be taken into consideration in regards to making sure that the salary difference doesn't become such an impediment in the relationship that we're heading in a direction that no one was ever looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I like that you say that we're in a society where sometimes men stay at home. That is so true. And a lot of you find that mostly in homes where there's small children, a lot of children, and then the couple have to look at, okay, who's making more money, and then you factor in the benefits from the job, like the healthcare benefits and the stocks and all of that stuff. And so the person staying at home is adding value. You're saving money by not putting your children in a daycare. Do you know how expensive daycare? It is so expensive. So each person bring value, whether via money or saving money. Based on each other's role, and that's where communication comes into play. But the next point is money management. Money management. And I just want to say one little thing on this, and Nikki, I'll give it over to you because I have a whole lot, but I won't go into it. I'm just a big advocate for keeping everything transparent. That's all I'll say for now, Nikki.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing with money management. Anyway, it's being transparent with everything that goes about managing the money. You're not managing just one person's home, your money. You're managing two persons' money, or maybe three persons, and you're dealing with a home, and whatever you do with that money could make or break that home. So you have to be very careful with it. One of the things under management, I think, is the partner who is just, they're different. Oh my God, I don't even know how to say it, but not being able to manage your money, but you still want to be over the money. Am I making any sense?
Absolutely.
It's like you're living in a home, and because, okay, you're the one making more of the money, you decide that, hey, I should be the one that managed the money. But you're not able to do that. You don't know how to budget, for one. You don't know how to take care of the home. You don't know how to pay any bill on time. Your credit is crazy. I mean, just different things that come into play. But, you want to create a big history fit. Well, you know what? My money is more than yours, and I bring home more to the table, and I should have more say into what's going on. It should never be that way. Or coming from another cultural perspective where it's like, okay, you know what? I'm the man, so I'm going to be the one running this. I'll tell you what's going to happen and what's not going to happen, and how we're going to do this and how we're not going to do that. That's not going to work either. Like, it's a marriage, it's a union. Both partners have to come together and make sure that we are giving an account for that money. And I'm just remembering, and Anthony is like, Nicola, you are talking a lot.
No, go ahead. You're making good points.
I'm just remembering in the Bible where God, it said that the man gave talents to each and every single person. every single time you get money in your hand, that's your talent. That's one of your talent. What are you doing with it?
Yes.
How are you managing it? How are you going to get, more from what you're doing with it? Being a spendthrift doesn't work in this time and in this society.
Not at
You
all.
have to manage that money so that each time, what are you doing? How are you, budgeting? How are you investing? How are you saving? That's all a part of managing your money. And if you're not doing that the right way, hey, there's nothing wrong with letting your partner know so both of you can work together and make sure you're getting the most out of that money. Make the money work for you, not the other way around.
Yes. And so I want to come back on my point because I know you had those great juicy points, but I wanted to come back on my point about being transparent with purchases.
Yeah.
I believe regardless of your culture, it's unfair to have these stashed away secret account that your spouse doesn't know about. It's being unfaithful. And being unfaithful doesn't actually only always involve an affair. Yes. Money is a big thing. And they say one of the three top reasons for divorce is communication, sex, and money. Yes. So it's right up there. Yes. And as you were talking, I remember a case of a lady, and this happens a lot. Like, you'll have women that come from different parts of the world, and maybe where they come from, like, they probably didn't work outside the home, or they weren't in charge of the finances, like you said. It was the husband's role, so they'll bring the money home to the husband and he'll take care of it. In America, it's a little bit different. And I remember this story of someone's colleague who they were sitting around a lunch table and having a discussion about tax returns. And she goes, tax returns, what's that? How does that work? And everybody looked around like deer in the head, like what are you talking about? Don't you file your taxes? Oh, my husband takes care of it. Okay, so how much do you get back in returns? Get back. I mean, we pay our taxes. Yeah, they take your taxes out your paycheck, but how much do you get back when you file your tax returns, or do you pay the IRS? She's like, I don't know. So that brought up a deeper discussion, and they kind of gave her some input as to how this taxes work in this.
Wow, amazing.
She went home and asked her husband. He got very irritable and was like, who have you been talking to? Why are you talking about taxes and tax return? That's none of your business. And she's like, no, I want to know, like, are we getting a tax return? And then if so, how's this being done? It's opened a whole can of worms.
Oh my.
To cut a long story short, she found out that for years there has been tax returns that they have been getting in the thousands. They have young children and, a home and all this stuff and all these tax credits.
Oh my God.
But she never saw a penny of it, never knew where any of it went. So that kind of angered her, and she did deeper digging. She found out back home in their country where they're from, and I won't say that, he was building a home. And he had one that was fully built and another that he was building. And she had no idea.
Wow.
And so she started to think, he probably has a lot of money saved up and I'm struggling. Sometimes you don't have enough food at home. And I don't understand it because I bring home money, he brings home money, and together we should have kept this afloat. So when it comes to money management, you have to keep things transparent. Don't be unfaithful by hiding monies. And our last topic is future forecast.
Yeah.
Planning for the future. I remember we were joking that, our parents, coming from different cultures, that sometimes we are the retirement funds. We're the retirement fund for our parents. But listen, we're younger now. It's a different generation, different time, especially if you're living in America, wherever you're living.
Yeah.
We can do better. And you learn a lot sometimes you can go seek a financial advisor. Yes. To learn and get educated on financial literacy, learn how to put money aside for retirement. In America, there's 403b, 401k, whatever country you live in, I'm sure there's monies that you can put aside for the future. You don't have it where feast today, famine tomorrow, or eating everything that comes in the door. Nikki?
Right. And just agreeing with everything you're saying, and while you're planning, don't forget that you're also, every decision that you make impacts your family when you're gone, or when you retire.
Yes.
You have younger children that you have to be thinking about, or maybe siblings. Yes, there's siblings that sometimes you have to think about, or an in-law that you have to think about. The way you're managing your money, the way you're budgeting it at this point, it's really gonna tell at the, in the years to come for retirement. What are you doing at this point to make sure that when you retire, you're going to be okay, you're going to be safe financially, you won't have to be worrying about money. A lot of people that don't plan, you see them working, you go to the stores, different areas, and you see people well in their 70s that are still working, have a part-time job,
Yeah.
at the age of retirement, but because they didn't plan for whatever reason. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know anybody's plight or whatever happened, but at that age, I cannot see myself working, you know what I'm saying, and having a part-time job when I've retired, but what I'm getting, it's not able to, suffice for the month based on my budget. So you have to look at these things and plan. What are your plans for the next 5 years, the next 10 years, the next 20 years? When do you want to retire? What have you put in place for your retirement? Are you depending on the job that you're in and saying, okay, when I retire, I'm getting X amount and this is what's going to happen? Is that going to be enough to take care of you on a monthly basis? What about your spouse? What's going on if you decide to retire? What if you want to retire early? All these things come into play. How are you preparing for it? And at the end of the day, it's not your money, it's our money, and we have to give an account for that money. Okay?
Yes, it's our money. I wanted to say something, and this is totally off topic from the last point of future forecast is, and I want to talk to women especially, and women from different cultures, regardless of what your background is, that you too can educate yourself financially. If you come from a family where the man takes care of everything and we're good and we're fine, that's fine. But know where things are, know which accounts you have, know which retirement funds are there, and add value. Add value to yourself. You can have your business if you don't want to work outside the home. If you and your husband agree, you can have a business or you can have a job. One of the things I like about the Proverbs 31 woman is this phrase that says, she considers a field and buys it. What does that tell you? That one, her husband trusts her enough for her to take that decision, and she could do it on behalf of the family. Two, she had money. She had money that she was in charge of, that she was able to handle. She considers a field and buy. So women, you don't have to sit back and like, oh, it's my husband. No. You too, you play a valuable role in that household and add value. I have nothing else. Nikki, over to you.
Yes. I'm loving what you're saying. Ignorance is not bliss. It's not cool. It doesn't look nice when someone asks you a question financially as a female and you go, oh, I don't have any idea. That's, I would have to ask my husband, I'd have to find out from him, whatever is going on. Please, it does not sound cute. It is not cute, please. Ignorance is not bliss and knowledge is power. It doesn't necessarily mean that, like we've been saying, and like Athleen said, even if, your husband is your source of income, you can still make something, work for you at the end of the day. Be empowered, get knowledge, use that knowledge to make a better future for you and your family.
And be accountable. Be accountable.
Yes, be accountable. Athleen, no shopping, stop.
I mean, I shop, but, I shop within reason and within the budget. There's budget for shopping. And I shop within the budget.
Yeah, I'm going to ask some questions later.
Okay. And I have nothing else to say. You go ahead.
Yes, we want to just say thank you again for being a part of this journey with us. Marriage Culture TV is here to stay. Like we say, this is where marriage and culture intercepts. Listen, we want you to be a part of this with every single day, every single time. Feel free to come on, listen to whatever we're discussing. We have information. We did our research. We did our homework. Like, share, subscribe, hit that like button every single time. Doesn't matter. As soon as you get on and we put one out, hit that like button. Again, thank you, and we'll see you again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.